This time I invite Gabby Roberts and Jean Kirkpatrick to the stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Gabrielle Roberts and I'm a junior at Brewer High School. I am currently a member of the basketball and track team as well as captain of the varsity volleyball team. It gives me great pleasure to tell you about Hall of Fame inductee Wanda Kirkpatrick Crowell. Miss Kirkpatrick was a 1969 graduate of Brewer High School. She began competing in track and field when she was just 15 years old. She was a key member of the Brewer track teams from 1966 to 1969 and earned her first medal at the Olympic Sports Day as a freshman. She became a premier long jumper, high jumper, hurdler, and a valued relay team member. Her junior year, she set a school record in the long jump, which stood for 18 years. She was a member of the 1968 440-yard relay team, which set a new state record, missing the national record by only 1/10 of a second. Over the course of her track career, she was a 5-time state champion. Even to this date, Miss Kirkpatrick is still listed in the top 20 all-time women's track performances in the long jump, high jump, and hurdles. Miss Kirkpatrick was also a multi-sport student athlete at Brewer, where she was an active member of the Girls Athletic Association, participating in intramural sports, basketball, and snow skiing. During her junior and senior years at Brewer, Miss Kirkpatrick competed in the Maine, New England, and National Track and Field Junior Olympics. She won numerous medals, setting many records along the way. In 1968, she was the only athlete, male or female, from Maine to qualify for the Nationals. After graduation from Brewer in 1969, Miss Kirkpatrick attended school at the University of Maine at Presque Isle. At this time, I am honored to introduce Jean Kirkpatrick to present his sister Wanda Kirkpatrick Crowell for induction into the Brewer Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Gabby. I'm very proud and honored to introduce the next 2023 Hall of Fame inductee, my sister, Wanda Kirkpatrick Crowell. Many of Wanda's siblings were involved in sports, including me, but none rose to the level of excellence that Wanda did. Her drive and her desire to excel started at a young age. She began competing in her freshman year, where she medaled at her very first Olympic Sports Day in 1966. She was a superior long jumper, high jumper, low hurdler, and relay runner. Wanda set numerous state records in high school. She competed 3 times at New England, winning twice, and then went on twice to compete at the national championships. Wanda's achievements are even more remarkable, considering that Brewer didn't even have a track, but I'm sure you've all heard that story before. She was an active student at Brewer, participating in all 4 years in the GAA and intramural sports. She was also an active skier in the skiing outing club and also played varsity basketball. She was a well-rounded athlete, winning her first pentathlon at Colby College at the young age of 15. Next year, she went on to win the Maine AAU Women's Pentathlon in Lewiston. Wanda competed at the Olympic Sports Day all 4 years while she was at Brewer. Over 54 years later, she is still listed in the top 20 all-time women's track performances in the long jump and high jump. She would be number 2 all-time in the 50-yard hurdles if they still listed that older discontinued event. Her accomplishments clearly show that any young student athlete can achieve their goals and dreams with hard work and perseverance. Brewer High School athletics have certainly come a long way since the 60s, and today's athletes should be very proud of their history. Greatness is only limited by your desire to become the witch of your dreams. I am extremely proud to present her to this esteemed group of athletes. Please join me in welcoming my sister, Wanda Kirkpatrick Crowell.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. It's with great pride that I'm here to be accepted into the Brewer High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I never thought I would be here on this stage. Being around Ms. Hoyt helped me feel better about myself. Being on the track team and field, I felt like I was someone and found a place I was accepted and could excel. First of all, I want to thank my parents and my family. My parents were always available and provided me with everything I needed, from transportation to encouragement and emotional support. Thank you to my brother, Gene Kirkpatrick, who was my childhood competitor. We would often see who was faster, stronger, or who could jump higher or jump further. He even dug a long jump pit in the back yard of our home. Then we got a couple of old wooden hurdles to practice with. I'm grateful to Miss Laura Hoyt, my physical education teacher, for encouraging me to try some track and field events. That was the beginning of a new life for me. Two other teachers that are special to me are James White and Gladys Stepitis. Thanks to them for teaching me building blocks that would be useful for the rest of my life. Thank you to Coach Ken Weinbell from Colby College for opening his home to me and providing for individual coaching. In the 1960s, Brewer High School was a great school full of pride and spirit. It was a decade of changes for girls' sports. At that time, Brewer High School only had 2 varsity sports for girls, basketball and softball. But we had a strong intramural program. Intramurals was a good introduction to a variety of sports. I got to try sports that I would never have been exposed to otherwise. Bangor Daily News had been sponsoring events for boys. In 1963, they recognized the need to reach out and find a way to involve more girls in organized sports. Bangor Daily News formed an advisory committee, which included Dr. Rome Rankin of the University of Maine, local physical education teachers Laura Hoyt and Diane Perkins, and Principal Philip Mealy, along with others. It was determined that since track and field used basic natural movements, it would reach a greater number of girls. Diane Perkins worked on contacting the Eastern District Department of Girls and Women's Sports, National DGWS, and she received permission from the Maine Association of Health, Physical Education, and Recreation, and the Maine State Principals Association. Ms. Perkins had a complex job of planning a track and field competition that would include the whole state of Maine. She was responsible for everything from acquiring a field, equipment, starters, judges, timers, recorders, events, programs, contacting all the schools, and so much more. There was very little money for girls' sports. In fact, I think there was none. But we wore gym uniforms, black shorts, and a white shirt, and sneakers to run track in for the first year. There was no track to run on. We ran in front of the school, used some old wooden hurdles, a sawdust pit out back, and foam wrapped in some netting to use for the high jump. Miss Hoyt worked on getting monies for uniforms. She arranged for us to practice in the gym. She was the coach of the girls' softball team, so we were basically on our own to practice. The first Olympic Sports Day was held on the cinder track at the Garland Street Field in Bangor in 1964. There were over 40 schools and over 500 contestants that participated. About the same time, the Amateur Athletic Union was also working on an Olympic development program. Dr. Ken Weibel from Colby College started coaching a few of us in the summers. Also, Steve Ross from the Lewiston area started the pentathlons and other AAU things. The first AAU National Junior Olympic Championship was held in Washington, D.C. in 1967. The state of Maine had 4 students qualify. To qualify, we had to place first in our age group in Region 1, which included New England, parts of New York, and New Jersey. In 1968, I was the only one, male or female, to make it to the National Junior Olympics in track and field. My first attempt at running was at a Girl Scout regional skills competition. At that time, I experienced a feeling of accomplishment and pride. All of us need to encourage our children to try something new and different and challenging. Be positive, be supportive of their efforts and progress. You never know what they might achieve. I've made friends that have lasted a lifetime. I couldn't ask for a better group of people that helped me with my self-esteem, learning to work as a team, growing stronger mentally and physically. It was a great time in my life, and thank you to all that helped to make this happen for me and to continue with the students. Thank you.